Mark Magnifico Magsayo versus Gary Allen Russell Jr. for the WBC featherweight belt. Let's break this fight down.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Coach Franco Breakdowns. And for this episode, we are going to break down the fight between Mark Magnifico Magsayo, our very own, versus Gary Allen Russell Jr. for the WBC featherweight title. I'm very excited for this fight, but nevertheless, we have to we have to cut back on the excitement and let's break this fight down. Let's see the pros and cons. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages for each fighter. So let's go first with Mark Magsayo. So Mark Magsayo has a 23 win, 0 loss record, 16 wins coming by a way of knockout. So it's 5'6", 168 centimeters, 68 inches of reach. It's 173 centimeters. Now the thing about Mark Magsayo leading to this fight is he is coming from a 3-fight winning streak. So he defeated Rigoberto Hermosillo, he defeated Pablo Cruz, and of course, he recently knocked out Julio Ceja in the 10th round. This is going to be pivotal. This is going to be to his advantage because he is the more active fighter between the two. When we head on over to Gary Allen Russell Jr., he sports a 31 win, 1 loss record, 18 wins coming by way of knockout. He is 5'4", 164 centimeters, and he has a 64-inch reach, 163 centimeters. Gary Russell, on the other hand, is on a 6 or 7 fight win streak, depending on, let's count it based on his only loss, which is from Vasily Lomachenko. So after Lomachenko, he defeated Christopher Martin, defeated Johnny Gonzalez, Patrick Hyland, Oscar Escandon, Joseph Diaz, Kiko Martinez, and Chugchot Nyambayar. Now going back to Mark Magsayo, he is a very good Filipino prospect that is coming from the same camp that produced Manny Pacquiao. So he now currently trains with Freddie Roach at Wildcard Gym. But for those who don't know, he came from the Ala boxing stable, and after that he had his own sets of challenges that led him from one camp to the other. So many things that came his way, but very good din naman na he was able to iron things out, and then he ended up with MP Promotions and is now training at Wildcard. Now let's talk about the fight. For me, the way I see this going down, it's going to be a very exciting fight. There are so many things to cover when it comes to breaking down a fight of this magnitude. Now, of course, let's look at several facets of the game that will affect the outcome of this fight. So we'll go for height and reach advantage, we'll go for speed, we'll go for quickness, we'll go for footwork, experience, corner men, ring activity, and ring IQ. Definitely, Magsayo is the taller and the longer fighter. He stands 5'6", Russell stands 5'4". Magsayo has a 4-inch reach advantage. Double check nga natin. Yes, 4-inch reach advantage, and he needs to capitalize on that. The way that he can win this fight is to be able to capitalize on his height and reach advantage. Speed, quickness, footwork, these are the plus sides of Gary Russell. I mean, if you watch a lot of his previous fights and his highlights na lang din, diba? You know that he's fast, you know that he's quick. And I really think that he has an advantage when it comes to having better footwork, because yun yung naging isa sa mga bread and butter ni Gary Russell all throughout his career. His ability to shift directions, his ability to maintain a certain amount of pace and the amount of speed na hindi nagwo-wind down all throughout 12 rounds. Next, experience. If we're talking about the records, mas maraming laban si Gary Russell. Gary Russell has fought formidable opponents, but for me, the main thing that he holds an advantage to Mark Magsayo is his ability to have fought in the entire 12 rounds of boxing. Like he has, let's check, how many fights has he won via decision? Parang ang dami rin oh. So in 31 bouts, 18 knockouts. So at least mga 13 wins coming via way of decision. So he had 1 loss via decision probably. Oh yun, majority draw. Majority decision pala. Yung talo niya kay Lomachenko. So when it comes to having the experience to go all the way 12 rounds, Gary Russell has that advantage. How can Mark Magsayo take advantage of that. So it simply means na since he has more knockout wins, he has a higher chance of knocking out Gary Russell. When it comes to cornermen, this is a very interesting take when it comes to the cornermen. Kasi Mark Magsayo has Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach, we all know, boxing legend, future Hall of Famer, and a very, very good ring tactician. On the other side, okay, Gary Russell is being trained by his father. The sudden twist or the plot twist to this fight so far is that Gary Russell Sr., yung coach ni Gary Russell Jr., recently had an amputation, and Gary Russell Jr. suddenly out of the blue declared that he's been training himself, that his father was not there in his camp. So we don't really know how this will factor in. Now, I mean, let's take it at face value. Sabihin na natin na walang cornerman, walang head coach si Gary Russell. That's bad for a fighter. That's catastrophic, di ba? You're coming from a 2-year layoff. You're going to defend your belt and then walang leader ng camp. Walang nagda-direct ng camp mo. That's very detrimental to any fighter, basta when it comes to combat sports. Coaches are very, very important. For Gary Russell not to have a coach, parang he's setting himself up for failure. At the end of the day, when it comes to high-stakes fights na ganito, you cannot train yourself. And we all know, all throughout history, lahat na nagsabing they trained themselves. They never really had a really good career or it was never the outcome that they want. Now we can also look at it this way. It could be a diversion tactic. It could be it could be something that Gary Russell thought of na parang, okay, let me announce this, 'di ba? Kasi if you're a fighter, you don't say these things, 'di ba? Hindi ka aamin na may problema kang ganito. Kasi you're setting up an excuse already in case you lose, eh. 'Di ba? You're prepping up people that you're gonna lose. So we don't know. However, if this could be another tactic for the Russell camp stating na, hey, we're kind of slacking off. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm training myself. So it will provide, or it will give that false sense of confidence for the Magsayo camp and say, okay, he's not really training that hard because he doesn't have a coach, so we could probably slack off, diba? I mean, these are small things. These are some of the psy-ops that you could pwede nating sabihing psy-ops when it comes to fight camp preparation na parang sabihin nga natin na let's say statement A but we'll actually do something different. Pwede siyang ganon, pero pwede rin totoo. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that statement by the Russell camp stating na I'm training myself, my head coach is not here because he went through a medical procedure, how will that affect yung performance ni Russell, and how will that affect yung performance ni Magsayo when it comes to fight night? Of course, activity. Magsayo has been the more active fighter. Russell has been stagnant for the past 2 years. Si Magsayo naman, he's been active. So he fought 2019, 2020, and then 2 fights ng 2021. He's on a 3-fight win streak. So he is going to take the momentum of those victories. And then mind you, this is something very admirable about Mark Magsayo. Hindi siya umuwi during the holidays. He stayed in the US, kept training, kept getting better. That could only pay dividends for him come fight night. Now let's go to ring strategies or fight night strategies. This is one of the things that Gary Russell has an advantage. Kasi he can switch things up. He's faster, he's quicker. He can fight from the inside, he can fight from the outside. However, I really think na pagdating sa laban nila ni Magsayo, he would want to push the pace. He would want to go inside. When I say you want to go inside, you want to bridge that gap. Kasi you know that Magsayo has a longer reach than yours. So it's gonna take more. It's gonna be harder for you to fight from the outside. So ang gagawin mo ngayon, papasok ka. So when you fight from the inside, you're going to utilize your uppercuts, your hooks, diba? You're going to pivot in and out, find the really good angles, hit the body, get more body shots. Kasi when it comes to infighting talaga, your ability to use your hooks and your uppercuts, pupuntirehin mo yung katawan, bobodegahin mo talaga yung kalaban mo, and then that will set up your hooks and your uppercuts to the face. Nakita rin naman natin na Gary Russell has a very potent uppercut hook combination and a hook and uppercut combination that paved the way for his victories. So this is something that the Magsayo camp needs to prepare for. His his quickness is to his advantage, or his ability to ang speed kasi is how you can go from point A to point B. Ang quickness is how you can shift your body weight from left to right. Pagdating doon, yung footwork, talagang magaling si Gary Russell doon. So this is going to be a very advantageous thing for him. When it comes to Gary Russell winning or surviving this fight, clearly mas may knockout power si Magsayo. So for Gary Russell, those are the things that he can do in order to win this fight. So number one, he needs to fight from the inside. He won't allow Magsayo to take advantage of that height and reach advantage. Next, he will create a strategy wherein he will keep the fight from the inside. Another strategy na tingin ko na pwede niyang gawin would probably early rounds, stick and jab or punch and run away. Pero medyo mahirap i-sustain yun eh. Di natin alam. One thing that's really going Gary Russell's way all throughout his career is his jab. Maganda yung jab ni Gary Russell. Panoorin niyo yung mga previous fights niya, even yung mga highlights, makikita niyo maganda yung step jab niya. When you talk about step jabs, yung may jab kasi na nagfi-flick lang yung kamay. Si Russell, pag pinanood niyo, merong small step papasok dun sa jab. So every time he throws a jab, merong small step forward. Yun yung ginagamit niya pang setup ng mga combinations niya. All throughout his career, maganda na yung pagsa-setup niya ng step jabs niya. So definitely that will be a factor in this fight. Feeling ko talaga he's going to drag this fight towards the 12th round. Pag umabot kasi sa decision, mas mataas yung chances ni Russell na manalo. Another strategy would be later early rounds, he's going to exploit his hand speed, his quickness, and he is going for the body. Feeling ko talaga ang gagawin ni Russell dyan, pupunterehin niya yung katawan ni Magsayo. Halfway through the middle rounds all the way to the 12th round, dun na siya titira sa itaas or dun na siya tatarget na muka. Pero definitely expect body shots from Gary Russell kasi it's gonna be one of his potent weapons leading into this fight. Let's go over to the Magsayo camp. He's coming from a win streak. So yung momentum ng dala-dala niya. Tuloy-tuloy yung training niya. So the momentum of acquiring knowledge and drilling and getting good training hours, getting good sparring sessions, hindi naputol yung momentum ng camp na yon. And Freddie Roach has been there every step of the way. So now, Freddie Roach has seen the limitations, nakita niya kung ano ba yung mga pwedeng baguhin kagad ni Magsayo, nakita niya kung ano ba yung mga dapat na i-improve, diba? And they've had the time to do it. Parang, I think they have at least 5 to 6 months to prepare for this fight, and I really hope that is enough to beat Gary Russell. Ang isa pang advantageous na ginawa ni Magsayo is yun nga, balik tayo doon, hindi siya umuwi over the holidays. The thing is, maraming fighters, ang gagawin yan, lalaban, manalo or matalo, magbabakasyon bago bumalik ng gym. Or babalik ng gym pag may napirmahang laban na uli. In the case of Magsayo, he won, he stayed in the States, he kept training. Pwede nilang pag-usapan kung ano yung mga limitations, ano yung mga mali, ano yung mga dapat nilang i-improve. Tinrabaho nila yon all throughout the holidays and leading to this fight. Hindi nawala sa kondisyon si Magsayo, and at the same time, nakita niya kagad, nasabihan kagad siya, ano yung mga mali mo dito at ito yung gagawin nating remedy, ito yung gagawin nating solusyon para pagdating dito sa Russell fight, hindi mo na siya uulitin. I really think na paghahandaan nila yung body shots. I really believe that they will prepare for those. Time they will also devise a strategy wherein Magsayo could knock out Russell at any point or any round of the fight, but they're also prepared to go all 12 rounds. One of the things din naman na napapansin about Magsayo is it's either he's too wide every time he attacks, he masyado siyang open, tends to fade in the middle rounds and hopefully picks it up in the second half. He hasn't really gone 12 rounds, or he hasn't really had fights that went full 12 rounds, so we'll see how he handles the fatigue, how he handles the pressure, how he handles the situation. Another thing would be how will Magsayo take advantage of his height and reach advantage. Now, this is where the power comes into play, how he will cut the ring. Ang pinakamaling gagawin ng Magsayo doon is hahabulin niya. Dapat gagawin niya ngayon, puputulin niya yung angle. That's what you mean when you talk about cutting the ring. Kasi when you cut the ring, instead of hunting or instead of running down your opponent, you're going to intercept them. So when you intercept them, you're giving parang aalisin mo yung outlet nila for escape, aalisin mo yung outlet nila for attacking you. And I really hope that he was able to practice that with Freddie Roach over the break, because that will really come in handy pagdating ng laban laban nila. Another thing is, syempre nandun na yung knockout power. Magsayo knows that he can knock Russell out. He knows that he can knock out everybody in the division. So I really hope he won't fall into the trap of headhunting. Diba? Kasi pag naging headhunter ka or nawala ka sa game plan, wala eh. You'll end up losing points. Manggigigil ka and you're not gonna stick to the game plan, and that will be detrimental for your overall strategy. I really hope you learned something from this video. Let me know your thoughts. Did I miss anything? What are the other key factors to victories for both fighters? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow me on social media. I'll see you in the next video, and I really hope we get to enjoy a really exciting fight. So, peace.